This is Uncanny Tales number 22, Golden Age comic. It's funny, the store cover has most uncanny fate befalls the half man. There's a story, but it's not the same as what's portrayed on the cover. Anyway, they got an ad here for some crap. A bunch of junk you can buy or something. The Vicious Undertaker. This story takes place in Berlin with the Russians, communists. They're after some kind of target they call XBB. I guess he's a spy for the West. These other two guys went in after him, these Russians, and they both wound up dead. This guy is a spy they're looking for. XBB keeps disappearing. And every time they keep running into this guy who's driving a horse-drawn hearse. They're asking for his papers all the time. Because he's traveling from east to the west zone, I guess. And he's just talking about how good business is in the East Berlin. People die like flies. And he talks about how much he likes American cigarettes and stuff. So they find another guy. Oh, when they do the autopsy, they got one of the guys that were found. The Russians were found dead, have no marks on their bodies, no cause of death they can find. And they start suspecting this guy, the hearse driver, might be involved because he's always in and out of the zone a dozen times a week. So they raid his funeral home. They find another one of their comrades dead in a coffin. They find one coffin's got a bunch of radio equipment in it, like being used to send secrets to the West. And they find a bunch of the other Russian agents dead in coffins, no marks on their bodies. And then the guy they're after, XBB, takes a mask off and reveals his true identity as Death. And then I guess all the other guys fall down dead. Now that was kind of a lame story, actually. The ending was kind of weak. Smaller than an atom. It's one of those written stories. Now you can fly a real jet plane. Well, not really, but they'll tell you that in the ad, I guess. This story here is actually kind of interesting. Half Man. It has nothing to do with the cover story, Half Man. This story is in the future. This scientist creates men out of a single cell. But they call them androids for some reason. They're give them like a dirty nickname they call them half men. And the government has to decide what they're going to do. So all the capitalists want to use them in their factories. They only manufacture men, no women. And they put tattoos on their bodies like serial numbers. And they make them work for all these factories, and they have to check in at night, curfew, and they don't have any rights or freedoms, treat them like animals. Then an alien invasion happens, and they have to use the androids to fight the aliens because they seem to be a little bit stronger than the regular humans. All the regular humans are killed by the millions, so the androids have to do the fighting. All the regular humans move underground, and it's like a segregated society. The androids can't mix with regular people. But then eventually the androids start winning the war for them above, so they start accepting the androids. This regular woman's even dating an android here. They start falling in love. Then he's called away for like a final big battle with the aliens that were invading the Earth. And the androids are successful here. They drive away the alien forces. So they think when they get back home, it's going to be a brave new world where they have freedoms and everything. But then all the humans tell them to check their weapons. They're going to turn them back into slaves again, put them underground. And the woman he was in love with rejects him, calls him a monster. So that at the end of the story, they're being put back into the underground to be slaves again. That's actually kind of a cool story. I guess you could draw a parallel between that and maybe African Americans fighting for their freedoms and they get fucked over when they came back home after World War II. The Locked House. This isn't not a bad little story. This wife and her husband, she can't open the door to put a note out for the milkman because the door won't open. He tells her, "Don't worry about it. I'll check it in the morning. I'm tired." And he tries to open a window, it's stuck. And he tries the hallway window, it's stuck also. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I gotta get to sleep. I got a big day tomorrow. We should worry about it in the morning. They must have just got frozen due to the weather or something." And they wake up the next morning, no problem. The doors open up perfectly. And they realize something's wrong. There's no cars on the street, no people. His ride for work doesn't show up. They go check out the neighbor's house. Everybody's dead. They're like colored green, like they've been poisoned. And they check the whole neighborhood. Every single house is the same way. Everybody's dead. And they check the house. The radio and phone doesn't work. Then they realize they hear a noise outside. It's a big alien ship coming down. And here's an ad for cheesy reversible auto seat covers. And some other crap. Want a U.S. government job? Start as high as $4,000 a year, or less than that. Well, on the next page of the story, the alien ship lands, and these aliens come out from Venus. It says their planet is dying. We needed a new place to live, so they kill all the humans off. And they kept one family alive. They sealed their house shut the night before, which is these people's house, just in case they need to observe some human families, in case they have trouble adjusting. So they decided to shove them back into the house, so they're going to be locked inside their house from now on. While the Venus people rule the world, they're the only humans left, locked inside their house. Then there's an ad for, "Hey Skinny, your ribs are showing." One of those famous ads. Well, this story here's not bad. They like this artwork, Seeing Eye. Looks nice, creepy looking artwork here. This guy's a criminal. He's staking out this rich neighborhood. He sees this blind man with a seeing eye dog. So he gets the idea to rob the guy. And he gets his friend here to help him. He's going to tell him about his plan in the bar. Kidnap the seeing eye dog and make the guy pay them $2,000 ransom to get the dog back. So one night, he goes to the library and prints up a note in Braille so the guy can read it. Here, he's holding it. So they just agree to meet up later that night in the park where the guy always walks by at night. The one friend of his is late. He tells him to shut up. The cop walks by. They're sitting here waiting for the blind man to come along. Here he comes out of his house. He's about to walk by the tree. So they spring out. And they tell the guy what they're doing. They're kidnapping the dog and read the ransom note and bring the money. Then the blind man starts directing the dog what to do. He tells the dog, "There's a man on your left and right. Get him." They're like, "What the fuck? This guy's not blind?" And at the end of the story is one of those twist endings. He's talking to the dog. They're dead, Albert. We'd better go before someone else finds out that I'm the seeing eye man for a retired blind werewolf. That's kind of funny. A retired blind werewolf, of all things. And there's a story page with a picture. Some cheeseball comic book ads. Classifieds. Ugly blackheads. Well, this last story is pretty cool since it's Halloween season right now as I'm speaking. The Horror of Sleepy Hollow. It's kind of a retelling of that famous story. The artwork says Ayers. I think this is Dick Ayers of Marvel Comics fame. This one guy is a senior partner in a law firm, the older man, and he likes to visit historical places, finds them interesting. Then he reveals him and this junior partner of his are in love with the same woman. They're waiting for her to decide whether she wants to marry the guy with money or the handsome young guy. And the young guy tells him, "I want to go on a trip to Sleepy Hollow. I'm always wanted to visit the place." So the old man is like, "Okay, that sounds interesting, actually." So he says the older man decides to play a trick on the young guy. He dresses up like the headless horseman here. Gets a horse. He's gonna try to scare the young guy. Then when he's crossing the bridge, he sees that there's a real headless horseman here. So he has to run away all scared. The guy's chasing him. The real headless horseman is supposedly chasing him. Gets a thing thrown in his face. The pumpkin head falls down. When he tells his story, when they wind up putting him in an insane asylum, he's trying to tell the young guy and the girl to help him out, but they just leave him there. Then they're laughing to themselves. The other headless horseman was actually him in a costume. They came up with a plan to steal the guy's money. Then they see another, when they're driving back out of there, they see the real headless horseman finally shows up. Out of the three, this is finally the real one. He throws the head, hits the car, and crashes it off a bridge. They both wind up getting killed. And that's the end of the story. And then they got an ad for Skinny, gain more weight. And this is funny, an ad for a live toy circus with performing chameleon free for $1. So they mail you a lizard in the mail with a box with air holes to breathe. And an ad for chewing gum that makes you lose weight. And then the back page is funny. They got an ad for here's how to get no cost real live miniature dog. Please give me a home. And an ad for 20 photos copied billfold size pictures. But that's interesting. The cover is called Half Man, but the guy's cut in half. But the interior story has nothing to do with the cover. It's the half men are like half. They just call them half men because they're made out of a single cell. Anyway, that's the end of that. Thank you.